have a question.
Yeah, please.
It seems to me that ignorance and understanding are attributes of the mind. If I am ignorant, it is my mind that is ignorant.
Mm-hmm.
If I understand, it
Right.
is my mind that understands.
Right.
But I don't expect to understand everything. And I don't know that it's that important that I understand. If I grasp that there is much that is beyond my understanding.
Mm-hmm.
And really a lot of times I am content not to understand.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of these very elaborate studies seem to be about working with one's mind, and I sort of am at a point where I don't think my mind is, it's a very inadequate tool. It's a very, limited, It is like you say, the sixth or this whatever, I can hear and whatever, and my mind can do some things, but I don't feel driven to get to the point where I understand everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I am okay with the wonder of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And what I experience and what I perceive is wonderful, and it's okay that I don't know some things.
So, what is the question? How do you like to formulate your question?
Okay.
Is it necessary at all to know all this? Is it
Are
mental
we
acrobatics?
Is
that
what you're talking of? This, like in other groups, they focus on who am I, what am I? The question is who am I, what am I? And in those groups, I say I don't really have that question. It's not something I worry about. And so I guess my question is it accurate that these discussions are about the mind and what we can and cannot understand? And what am I doing if I'm over here saying, it's okay I don't understand? It's more important for me to be in the now and to have I prefer to have my awareness in the present, and it's all right that I don't know what happens after I die, that I don't know how the universe works.
So ignorance is bliss. Why not?
I just can live with it. No, it isn't.
I can.
bliss.
Yeah, I
It's
understand.
just that
So no,
it doesn't upset me.
I understand. That's why I asked you. How do you formulate it? Your question, because on one side you can formulate this question as, why should I know it? What is the purpose? What is the use of knowing all this? Is it just a scholarly debate after you have a stomach full of food and sitting comfortably, or has it any pragmatic, practical value? That would be one way of formulating.
Yes.
The other way of formulating is it any harm if I just live like this with my contentment? Contentment being my bliss and being at a childlike wonder with all what is. So, these are two different ways of formulating that question.
The latter is.
So, is it wrong to be in the world with a childlike wonder with it?
Right.
Wonderful. You see, any teaching doesn't arise unless there is a question.
Oh,
Okay. So, this is not like any ad that, buy our product. No. Any Upanishadic or Vedantic or any deep questions come only with, any of these teachings come only with a question.
I see.
So, some of the teachers even refuse to talk unless there is a question.
I see.
Okay. If there is no question, if I still am happy with it, fine, that happiness will still be a function of time. there will be a point of time in your life when, out of curiosity or out of some other reason, you will start to wonder, what is all this? Who am I and what is this world? If that question comes at all, then this whole discussion becomes valid. Okay. Otherwise, without this question, any input of knowledge is unnecessary. So, at what time there is a flight to New York, I mean that knowledge is unnecessary for me now, unless I have to travel to New York on that particular day and ask this question. So, first of all, that question is necessary. But then in a broader philosophical sense, this whole life and the mechanics of it are so structured, as Karen said it, couple of months in May, I think Jordan had Karen Richards here. She said it excellently. The whole life itself is structured in such a way that you stumbled onto these questions. This life itself is designed almost to raise these questions in you, and at one point or other this will emerge. Whether I am conscious of it or not conscious of it, in one form or other these questions crop up. If you formulate this whole thing in terms of the purpose, your question, why should I know it? What is the purpose? Well, on one side you can say as an answer that this is not a theorem from which you can derive some applications. There is a theoretical, how do you say theoretical? Yeah, theoretical. So, it is not a theoretical formula from which I can draw a lot of applications. This knowledge is not really like the purposeful knowledge we gain in the world. If you want to be a carpenter, if you want to be a physicist or a mathematician, you acquire that knowledge, you acquire that expertise. You want to be an excellent surgeon, so you acquire that knowledge. There is a purpose to it, right? So, this purpose-based knowledge acquisition and development of expertise over period of time is related with a goal-oriented knowledge gathering. Whereas this knowledge of that Tat or nameless, that Brahman, that knowledge is not with this purpose of gaining something. This is investigative, purely investigative, to understand yourself. It's an inquiry based knowledge. And this knowledge is not something you can hoard, you can develop expertise at. If I develop an expertise, I become like any other professional. No, this is something relational, experiential.